Hello there, Tep Cupsters. Welcome to the academic enrichment lesson scheduled for Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. For today's lesson, you're going to need a pencil, a paper, and the passages Twins and the Bowman and the Elephant. Now, neither of these passages are available in your skills book, so you're going to need to pull them up on the Tep website. If you are able to, go ahead and print it as well, but if not, that's fine. We'll just read along on the screen. You can pause the video now to gather your materials and press play when you're ready. Our focus for today will be to interpret and annotate the question. And I have a couple of steps that will help do that. First, we will read the question before reading the passage. Then we will reread the question and then circle the question word. And then we are going to push ourselves to truly understand what the question is asking us to find. Now, we can move on to step 2. Reread the question. You can whisper read with me. What does the first paragraph show about Brittany and Brianna? Now that we've reread the question, we can move on to step 3. Circle the question word. Now, I notice the question word is what, so I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Please take this time now to go ahead and write down the question and then circle the question word. Pause the video now and press play when you're ready to move on. Now that we've written down the question and circled the question word, we want to truly understand what the question is asking. So something else that I noticed here was the word show. Please point to the word show. And some of the main questions we notice about, some of the main words we notice about the question is what and show. And the subject is Brittany and Brianna. Now, the question is, what does the paragraph show about Brittany and Brianna? And so now I know that the question is asking us to identify some character traits about Brittany and Brianna based on the information that we can find in the first paragraph. Make sure that you have the question written down along with the question word what circled before we move on. Now that we've read the text, we can go ahead and reread and then begin to answer the question. Now, let's read the question again. What does the first paragraph show about Brittany and Brianna? Now, before we begin answering, we know that we have to flip the question. So what we're going to do first is to cross out that question phrase because we know that's not going to be part of our answer. And then we can start our sentence stem with the first paragraph shows that. Now, let's go ahead and go back into the text to see what we can find out about Brittany and Brianna. One of the things we noticed was that Brittany started selling her artwork very early on. She was just 6 years old. We know that Brianna was singing in front of people at a very young age as well, and that they began to write books together and sold so many books. And so some of the adjectives that come to mind when thinking about Brittany and Brianna are creative and hardworking. And so here's how our answer could look. The first paragraph shows that Brittany and Brianna are creative and hardworking. It is now your turn to practice this skill with a text of your own. But before we move on to that part, let's review the steps for interpreting and annotating the question. Go ahead and take a moment to think to see if you can guess them before I say them. Take a moment. All right, get ready. Step 1. Read the question before reading the passage. If you got that one right, give me a thumbs up. Cool. Step 2. Reread the question. If you knew that was next, you can give me another thumbs up. Step 3, circle the question word. And step 4, understand what the question is asking. Let's read through these one more time so that we know exactly what to do when we get our next question. 1, read the question before reading the passage. 2, reread the question. 3, circle the question word. And 4, understand what the question is asking. Let's start again with question 1. Go ahead and read the question below. What do lines 50 through 211 show about the men? Just like earlier, I'm going to go into the text and go ahead and find those lines so I know where to focus when I'm trying to answer my questions. And so as you see, I've put a bracket around starting at line 50, and then I close the bracket all the way down at line 211. If you have the text printed, please go ahead and make that bracket as well. Now we can reread the question. What do lines 50 through 211 show about the men? Now let's move on to circling the question word. Take the time now to go ahead and jot down the question. Now that you have the question written down, let's circle the question word. Go ahead and circle the question word now. Now, before we move on to answering the question, we want to do what we did with the first example. We want to really think about what the question is asking us. Another word that we notice here is the word show. Say show. Good. And so similar to the first question, it's asking us what lines 50 through 211 show about the men. And so what we're going to be looking for are character traits, something that describes how the men behave based on the evidence that we can gain from lines 50 through lines 211. Now that you've circled the question word and understood what the question is asking, you are going to independently read the text. You can pause the video now to whisper read The Blind Men and the Elephant to yourself. Once you are finished reading, go ahead and press play so that you can see your exit pass for the day. Go ahead and press pause now to read the story. Welcome back from your read. For your exit pass today, you're going to submit a picture of the question with the question word circled, and then your answer to the question. As a reminder, here's your question. What do lines 50 through 211 show about the men? Now, as you are answering the question, be sure to go back into the text. What you can do now is either rewind the video to right before so that you can see the text again, or you can pull it up on the TEP Student website. Be sure to upload your answer to Dojo, and thank you so much for taking time to learn with me. Have a good rest of your day.